But if everything left me tomorrow, I got robbed of all my assets. I got robbed of everything. I have no money tomorrow. So what would I do now starting out? So I would use Google Bard and I'd use ChatGPT and I'd go and follow the stuff that you and Julian talk about. And then once I've started earning money, I'd work 7 days a week, 14, 15 hours a day until I've got the money to build backlinks. And then I'd start building backlinks. I'd probably start off with citations, like you said. I put an address on, I get all lead signals, which cost no money to do. So a telephone number, an address and all that. Once I've got money, I'd go and get 500 citations, probably cost about $200 on Fiverr. So I'll get 100 citations. I'd load them into like Amiga indexer to try and get as many of them indexed as I can.
Welcome to James Dooley, who I'd probably regard as one of the top SEOs in the world. I'm not sure what he's got to say on that. Of all the irony, I think this is the first time we've actually spoken properly, despite multiple...
Yeah, we've been to quite a few. Obviously, we was in Chiang Mai and stuff like that, and then we never got time to speak, but...
Exactly. It was on my list that while you were there, but every time you were sort of surrounded by your group knocking back pints, so I thought I won't disturb on this occasion.
You know what? We only drank on one of the... We only drank on the Friday. We didn't drink the first few days at all. We didn't have anything. We were just doing meetup after meetup after meetup, and then... Yeah, we got very excited on the Friday. Too excited.
Was that the beer pong night?
Yeah, the beer pong night, yeah.
Very good. So normally it's traditional on a podcast that I should introduce you, but I think on this basis that's going to be totally inaccurate. I think probably better you tell me, because frankly I lose track of what you're up to. I know you've got all sorts of businesses all over the place, something like 1,000 websites. You've got a mix of local lead gen, gambling affiliate, agencies. So probably better if I just hand over to you and you say what you like about what you do.
Yeah, so we do quite a lot of rank and rent websites. We're in over 500 different industries for lead generation. I think there's 857 from when I checked yesterday of different websites that we have live that are physically clients are paying for. I think there's nearly 2,000 websites that's built and some of them aren't. They're built and ranking, but we don't yet have the clients in place for it. So if we build out a site and for a 12-month stretch, we're struggling to monetize it from a lead generation standpoint, we'll move to display ads or just put it into the testing pot for testing what links work, 301s, and just trying to break the algorithms and see how far we can push the boundaries, basically. So obviously came across your stuff because, I mean, it seems like you've blown up. I don't know whether it's just because I've only started in the last 3 or 4 months following and liking some of your stuff. So obviously you start seeing more when you start liking stuff. But your YouTube channel is great. I watch all your YouTube videos. I think they're great. I love the thumbnails as well, the AI kind of thumbnails and stuff like that. And then I think the very first time I came across you was when you posted about getting the knowledge panel, for like entrepreneur on the knowledge panel. I was like, wow, wait a minute, how'd you get this? And then from there, I started seeing a lot more of who you are and what you do and stuff like that. I think obviously we've crossed paths quite a few times, but you're on my radar now to follow, and I think you're giving a lot of good kind of information out there to the general public. So I wanted to jump on just to say hi as well, really.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, I was flattered. I loved how you messaged saying, I'd love to be on your podcast. And I thought, sure. I didn't podcast, but...
I just meant to chat, and like, you don't know whether you call it a podcast or YouTube kind of channel or whatever it is, just wanted to catch up and chat, because I've got a lot of respect when people... The one pain point that I have is when people don't turn up to events or meetings and then they try and outreach to you. But you've been to quite a lot of different events. You turn up, obviously speaking as well. And quite a lot of the content that you're putting out there is brilliant for the general public. So I like surrounding myself with people that are enthusiastic and like what they do, and not like in a tunnel vision of this is the only way you can do things. And I think I quite like the idea that you're open to AI, open to whatever works from a link building strategy. So it was one of them that I kept seeing your content you delivered. I'm thinking, yeah, I'd like to network with this person. I like what he's saying. And you've got a similar vision to what we do, and a similar vision to making certain that you're open to anything that might work. Like you said, like AI, and instead of being, oh, it's going to replace jobs, embracing it, which is cool.
Exactly it. I know, yourself, and obviously our mutual friend Craig, various other people. There's always this pushback against this sort of phony war that's going on between the black hat and the white hat. In reality, the best people in the industry, they don't put labels on these things. It's
exactly,
and that's always got to be within your own sort of risk profile, and that you accept that if you push it, like you say, then you're potentially endangering the future of that site. But you could make bank in the meantime, in which case that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, like anything, you've got short-term money and long-term money. They're kind of what we say internally in the office. And short-term money is stuff that's working in today's algorithms that might not work in tomorrow algorithms, because let's say parasite SEO or something like that. To be honest with you, I'll always think there'll be a way of it working, but what sites are working at present is working very well. So leveraging that in today's algorithm, well, that's good business. Now, whether that's going to work in tomorrow's and next week's or next month's or next year's, no one knows. Google are trying to say that they're going to come after it, but whether they'll be able to, I don't think they will, if I'm being honest. And I think what people deem to be white hat or black hat, we're all trying to manipulate Google's algorithm to get to the top, and we're trying to do it in the cheapest possible way that we can, that's going to earn us the most money and return on investment. So whatever someone wants to brand that, well, I've got a white hat on today, so maybe I'm white hat today.
I've seen Corey is occasionally now talking about blue hats.
Yeah. So I've bought every colour hat that there is of these. So someone wants to brand me whatever they want, I can say I'm blue hat, orange hat, black hat, green hat. Whatever you want to call me, that's what I am. I just try to make money by using SEO strategies to the best of my ability.
But yeah, to your point about getting out to events, I'm already deviating from the rough outline I've put together. But yes, for me, I feel like we've had quite similar paths in that I know you were very quiet, just hustling away in the background, not really building a personal brand for years. I know you still had Fat Rank, the blog, but it's only in the last 6 months to a year that you've really gone out there. Yeah, various people saying you will never see James Dooley on a podcast on stage. And isn't it Saigon is now going to be your first speaking engagement?
Yeah, so I'm not doing any speaking. I'm just doing an Ask Me Anything. So I've known Mads for a long time, and he knows quite a lot about my successes for many years with regards to the team that I've built around me. And I thought, do you know what? If I'm ever going to start doing anything on stage, I'm not an introvert. I'm quite extroverted. I'm quite confident in kind of what I deliver, but I thought the best person to ask me the questions on stage would be Mads, because he knows that I'm all about elevating team members. I'm all about elevating my business partners and enjoying the journey, which I do think is massive and important. So success to me isn't money. Success to me is happiness. And yes, money can bring some happiness in that, but at the end of the day, it's can you enjoy the journey with the people that you work with on a day-to-day basis, whether that's your VAs, your managers, or your directors or business partners. So I thought it would be best in Saigon for Mads to try and dig a little bit deeper about who I am as a person. You're right in what you're saying. Like, for many years, I've hustled in silence and let success be the noise. So, and to be honest with you, I probably would have kept it that way if it wasn't for AI coming along, because I do feel that now AI is coming along, that you probably need more of a personal brand. And then there's certain... Say again, sorry?
That's basically my view as well, that personal brand gives you a lot more protection against that, because you can switch industries more easily. Yeah, exactly that. So for anyone watching and listening, just for context, Mads Singer is very big on the SEO scene. Has got his own SEO projects. He's got content agencies, content sites, but his main thing is all about management. And therefore, the SEO world is a very target-rich environment, because we're all hustling away on computers, but not very good with dealing with the people aspect. So definitely that's on my list to talk to you later, James, about how on earth you scale 1,000 sites with your team and making sure those structures are in place, especially when it comes to rewards, equity splits. But yeah, for the time being, Mads also runs the Saigon SEO Mastery Summits and managed to get James speaking on stage. Otherwise, I've had a very similar path. As you said about blowing up on YouTube, I've just been building affiliate sites for about 5 years or so. Always with a sort of sense of imposter syndrome that, I'm not going to be the one putting myself out there. I'm just consuming the information. And then over time, you start realizing that actually your knowledge probably is more than you realize.
Yeah.
And as you say, getting out to events, that's definitely the next level where you just meet people. Think it's really cliquey that there's a sort of elite circle in Chiang Mai that you can't possibly penetrate. In reality, if you go to Chiang Mai, you generally run into people very quickly.
Yeah.
And so it's those conversations in the bars at 2 a.m. where you level up very quickly. So basically for me, it was a case of about 2 years ago, I was in the corporate job, realized how this corporate job, they had 2 SEO agencies working for them. And I always thought, agencies must be really good because they're an agency. And then quite quickly you realize, I know that and I can do that much better in-house.
Yeah.
And corporate structures, they don't have the resources to do that in-house. They'd much rather give it to an agency. So that was basically my big push, that you're literally telling me that I should go out and start an agency. And sometimes sold a website. And then that basically bankrolled my initial rise, which was just going out to events, leveling up my knowledge, but also just getting in front of people, getting connections, getting clients. So same as you've been working away in the shadows for a while. And then you come out and kind of realize actually people do want to pay attention to you. And then
honestly, the stuff that you're putting out there is absolutely superb, mate. And I don't say that if I don't mean it. If I said I don't like your content, I'd just say it straight, and I wouldn't be on this podcast. Like I like the content you're putting out. It's high level. Beginners can understand it as well, but it's to a high level that a lot of people think that there's some secret button to SEO. And do you know what? The stuff you're putting out there is just doing what you say and rinse and repeating what you say, and you will progress very quickly.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, in all honesty, I owe a lot of that to our mutual friend Craig Campbell, who's exactly the same, very high level, doesn't make any secrets. He says you've just got to implement the basics, the fundamentals. But you're absolutely right. People are always chasing shiny objects. So I get so many people reaching out saying, is this secret hack going to work for me? Forget about the secret hacks. There's 90% all out there. You've just got to implement it. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. I think a lot of people struggle from procrastination, analysis paralysis. I think they consistently want to learn new ideas and new techniques, and they've not implemented the previous techniques. And I think there's a classic saying of like, you don't need to be faster than the bear, just faster than the people running away from the bear.
Yes.
And if number one spot is doing something to 60% of what you know, just do 65% and get to number one and move on to the next keyword. You don't need to chase perfection. Like, it's just not needed.
That's why I always tell people about, obviously I'm a big fan of Surfer, whatever correlational tool you use, it's all the same. And I always say, even the makers of Surfer say, go for 70 and then move on to the next one. Grind away trying to get to 100.
I know so many people that have had like the score of like 95 on Surfer, and then they're spending days to try and get it to 100, and the kind of emailing Surfer going, oh, I've just added these in and it's only got it to 98. How do we get it to 100? And you're just like, stop obsessing over the score and just move on to the next page. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you said, a score of 70 or 80 is good enough. Like, move on to, like, your competitors are at 55. Do you know what I mean? They've got loads of entities on the page. You've got more entities on than them. Get more internal links and more external links, and you're going to win.
That actually reminds me, you mentioned earlier about procrastination and so on. That was a big thing I was going to mention about the whole rise, that for me, I really hesitated on link building. So I think most of my foundations came from just religiously listening to the Authority Hacker podcast on my commute into the day job. And everyone's pretty much agreed, Authority Hacker, absolute gold standard. There's all very good quality information there. But a lot of the discourse out there, you got to remember, is still basically from people selling things. And you and I we both have link building agencies. So it's in our interest to try and protect some mystique around link building, which basically means the overall messaging around link building is that if you build the wrong links, you could get totally destroyed, which to an extent is true. But at the same time, that meant, in my case, 3 years ago, where I had a content site that was doing really well, and I just hesitated forever on building links, partly because of the cost, but also the kind of downside risks I was picturing. And I found as soon as I started link building, it was a lot easier than I expected, and the results were amazing. And it was like a big secret of, why didn't anyone tell me that, you can just build links and it works.
Exactly that. The three pillars generally of SEO is good technical build of a site, good content, good quality backlinks. And when you say good content, like topical authority and internal links and silo and everything like that, and then just good links throughout your site, and you'll rank. And normally the case is if you're not ranking, you need probably more content and more links. Now, obviously, your content quality needs to be good, like you've mentioned on Surfer and stuff like that. But if you're delivering good quality content, it's normally more topical authority or more backlinks is why you are losing at present.
Absolutely. It's very difficult to reinvent. But talking about Surfer, I do have a list of more sort of technical hands-on questions for you here. So, like I say, you've been very quiet in the background for a while, but I think one of the first times I encountered you was probably about 3 or 4 years ago. I was doing keyword research basically to promote Surfer with an affiliate review. And in Ahrefs, you get all these search terms around, does James Dooley own Surfer SEO?
Yeah.
And over time that developed, and I started seeing, why is James Dooley the best SEO in the world? And why is James Dooley a better SEO than Craig Campbell?
Yeah.
This won't help the podcast, but for the YouTube audience, I'll just share my screen. Oh, that's one other quick one I wanted to ask you just at the beginner level. Obviously, we've all heard the hottest girl in Manchester story.
Yeah.
Now, Craig likes to say this was him. Someone else told me you did it to yourself. So I just thought, as a starter for 10, tell us the truth. What really happened here?
So basically what happened was Craig Campbell was in my office and Mark Walker was in my office, and we started to do certain techniques for ranking images, mainly for acquiring backlinks. So basically what would happen was if we tried to start ranking images, we would be able to, people then like news publications would start using, so I do like artificial grass is one of my industries. And if I could start ranking #1 for artificial grass, a lot of journalists and reporters would start using my image, and then I could then just go and do image outreach to then say, you've used my image, you need to credit the source and give me a backlink. So we got a lot of high profile backlinks from it. And this was the discussion in the office. So I was saying I could almost rank any image that you want. So we went back and forth, and there was a few images that went up online, and then it like between me, Craig, Mark, and a few others, like joke type of images. Now, I don't know whether this was Mark Walker or whether it was Craig Campbell, but then they grabbed that image, which I would not have wanted to rank in Google, and they ended up ranking that #1 for hottest girl in Manchester. So then it turned into one of them debates, for like not debates, but kind of competitions where I'd rank Craig for something, we'd rank Mark for something, he'd rank me for stuff. And then it got to a point where there was too many dodgy photos online. So I was like, right, let's stop now. But that's kind of how the story kind of quickly evolved.
That's very nice. So for everyone watching, ranking images, like James said, again, just a process. You're basically using things like Pinterest, Flickr. Quite a simple process. Were you reaching out just personally saying, I'm just random member of the public, that's my image, give me a link? Or were you doing the trick of trying to make it look a bit more official and potentially saying, I'm a lawyer, something like that?
So when basically what happened was, like, Craig talks about this quite a bit with regards to like the image outreach trick and stuff like that. And Craig was in my office at the time, and we was outreaching. We were just basically outreaching ourselves, saying we had that many images online that was ranking. We were saying, you're using our image, you need to credit the source, otherwise we're going to get you done for copyright infringement. And then loads of them were just linking back to us. And while I was in the office, down in my office, I'd gone, oh my God, we've just got a link off The Independent, which is like a nice national press website. And they'd cited the source and it linked back to us and was like, oh my God, that's great. And I looked at the image and straight away I knew that image wasn't ours. Right. So Dan had outreached but he had genuinely outreached to say that you've used our image, because he right-clicked on the image and said, search this image. And I didn't realize at the time that Google brought back not just your exact image, but similar images to it. And we outreached saying, you've used our image, and it wasn't, and they credited us. So at the time, Craig was then saying, I wonder how many others would credit the source for you, even if it's not your image. And you just outreach saying, you've used our image, can you credit the source?
So the copyright unknown trick.
That's the whole when Craig then set up, I think it was called Campbell Walker or something like that, between Craig and Mark Walker, which was like a solicitor's kind of thing where they'd sent emails out saying, like a legal kind of email saying, you've used our image, you need to credit the source. And then he was getting all these different things. We just kept it as being, we outreach from our company saying you've used our image, but we was legitimately trying to only outreach to people that had. And we were amazed by, when we then started to look back at how many links we'd got, probably 20-30% of the images wasn't even our image. About 70% was, about 30% they weren't even our images, and they just credited us with a source of, here is the image by, and then our company name, and then link back to us. So we was like, wow, this is crazy. That's kind of how all that started. With regards to the search volume and stuff like that,
so just for context before we go on. So yeah, there's all this volume around why is James Dooley the best SEO in the world?
Yeah.
And because of that, I like to call it almost like a reverse PR strategy, where therefore all these teams around the world were saying, that's an SEO term that's getting thousands of traffic. Let's get on that. So now you've got all this press around why is James Dooley the best SEO in the world. Somewhere here, is it in pages? I actually mentioned this in my book, basically talking about how the future of how can we actually influence the sort of Bard AI or ChatGPT response. So if someone says, who is the best SEO in the world, how can we as SEO professionals make sure we get recommended in that way?
Yeah.
So just this thinking outside the box, manipulating source data, I think is really interesting. But yeah, do go on, tell us more.
So we've done that for a while. And basically the reason why this came about was we was trying to manipulate or show up in the auto suggest for certain terms. So we a while back, this is probably 9 years ago, we would try to start ranking certain videos in YouTube. And what we do is we used to use like mTurk and certain tools like that would then search and click on your video and stuff. And what started to happen was, if people interacted with your video, watched it, liked it, commented on it and stuff like that, you got higher rankings in YouTube. But then what randomly started to happen was, when we started to do these searches, at first we did a search and let's say I wouldn't show up. So let's say it was just, I'm using this as an example, this wasn't the case, but let's say we typed in SEO. I wanted to rank for James Dooley SEO or something along those terms. If I typed in James Dooley SEO James Dooley, and they started clicking on my video and engaging with my video, it started ranking for loads of different terms like James Dooley SEO, fat rank, and all these different terms. But then randomly one day, this is about 9 years ago, when someone started typing in SEO, just the term SEO James Dooley showed up. It doesn't anymore, but back then when you typed in SEO, and the next minute, just randomly, like 500 monthly searches for about 2 or 3 years, people were searching SEO James Dooley. Now, the only reason why they were searching that was they were starting to type in SEO, and in the auto suggest James Dooley showed up. So we started to go, if we could manipulate the auto suggest, that if someone started typing in like link building agency, and then it came up link building agency Stuart Vickers, or SEO agency Stuart Vickers, and stuff like that, if we could manipulate that to show up, people would start searching that who doesn't even know who Stuart Vickers is, because they're just like, who's this? What even is this? And they start clicking onto it, and you're manipulating then the search volume for what people was doing. So it was like, how far can you take this with regards to certain stuff? So then we was manipulating the auto suggest, and then we started to try one or two things like we like certain ones like that would be, if we did just random ones like, does James Dooley own Surfer SEO, right? Would people then start putting in their H2, one of the questions, because it came up with search volume, does James Dooley own Surfer SEO? Now, obviously, they'd probably put in there, no, James Dooley doesn't own Surfer SEO, but they probably wouldn't just put that, they're probably expanding it. So they probably put something like, no, James Dooley doesn't own Surfer SEO. However, James Dooley is a search engine optimization specialist that optimizes content and he physically uses Surfer or something. So then the more mentions I'm getting with SEO and Surfer SEO and other things, would that help certain situations of, let's say, FatRank's website to rank better for Surfer SEO review? And it did.
It's
So
kind
we
of like
started
a citation, also kind of influencing the knowledge graph in that case.
exactly, yeah, exactly.
That's what
So
I was thinking about that thing about how we can manipulate the future AI search, whether it's Bard, generative, whatever.
yeah.
How basically about building this massive digital footprint, because Google's not that different today. So how can we get, basically spam the internet with those references that we want to manipulate?
So we own a tool called signalboy.com, and that does at the front end. People just think that does social signals. So it so-called does like Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is, in the back end of that website, and people that who get backdoor access, they also get backdoor access to allowing us to be able to. We've got a lot of people in there. It's almost like for like. So if you do this, can you do that? And we've got people that some of the groups have got 60, 70,000 people in the group. So what starts to happen is if I say, can you do me a favor and search why is James Dooley the best SEO in the world? And just check and send me a screenshot of where this website ranks. Now, the truth of the matter is, I'm not bothered where this website ranks. I just want someone to go and do a search that's got historical data, that's logged in probably to Gmail, that's probably using Google Chrome, that they're going up, opening their Google Chrome and doing a search, a real person that's doing a search, and then they're answering, and then in return, I'm saying, like, what do you want me to do for you? And they're saying, can you go and check to see where this is ranking, or can you go and check this? And I'm then going checking something in return. But there's 50, 60,000 people in some of these groups that are doing it. So what it allowed us to do was leverage people checking things. Now, we have like web designers in that say, could you click onto my website and scroll down to the bottom and check to see whether the contact us page is working? Now, obviously, with behavioral signals and stuff like that, they're all click-through rate and engagement and dwell time. This was all helping people's websites to rank higher, because dwell time and click-through rate and all this, and clicking onto multiple pages and not bouncing back in the SERP, they're all ranking factors. And they're more of a ranking factor than what people think. People just think that it's content and links and stuff like that. Engagement signals and behavioral signals is huge. So this is where it came from. And then from that, then what started to happen, which was very scary, I didn't pay for a single one of them, why is James Dooley the best SEO in the world, articles. People then, because it started to come up in Ahrefs, started to think, because they needed to do topical authority for SEO, they needed to write about this. And I think now there's something like 37 articles where someone's gone and written an article saying, why is James Dooley the best SEO in the world? James Dooley is an amazing SEO. He does link building, content optimization. He's got some rank and rent sites. And they've gone and written that off their own back, linked to all my social profiles. And like you said, it's citations on the internet for that. So we now can leverage it for certain brands where we could say, I think there's another one that we did as a little test where we did, why is auto blogging the best AI writing tool? And I think if you Google that, why is auto blogging the best AI writing tool? I think there's some guest posts on there. And again, we've not paid for one of them articles. That is now people saying that auto blogging is the best AI writing tool. And the more and more people are saying it and it's being searched, people then who we've not paid for, who've got an article that says best AI writing tools, go in and add that into their list without us even asking, because they feel, I need to add this in because of correlation.
Yeah.
Surfer AI starts, right, if you ask Surfer AI certain questions, it starts bringing this information in because of correlation, that they feel that you need to add that as being one of the AI writing tools and stuff. So yes, you're manipulating SGE, you're manipulating Bard, you're manipulating ChatGPT and OpenAI, because you've got lots and lots of documents on the internet that is talking about this.
Okay, here's a good one for you on that basis. So yes, in theory, we're just a link building agency, but as you know, links don't work if you don't have a topical authority or your content's not up to scratch.
Yeah.
So generally, when someone starts with us in month one, we'll try and do everything we can basically to improve their existing content and fill those topical gaps.
Yeah.
But we often get some gentle pushback. We go for that minimum content score of 70, but they'll say, you've mentioned our competitors. And we'll say, unfortunately, in the NLP, we have your competitors on there. So the example I always give is the best business coach. You better mention Tony Robbins, otherwise Google is going to see your articles incomplete. Google's only a machine. It can't read the content, but it can look for these mentions and entities.
Yep.
So you really need to fill those topical gaps. Now, what we tend to do is bury them at the bottom, and you only have to mention them. You don't have to say they're fantastic and do a detailed comparison.
Yeah.
But personally, I think it's worth getting them in there.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. Getting the right entities and the right kind of keywords that are needed, and getting the semantic triples as well. So if you're turning around and you're getting the subject, the predicate, and the object in the right order in certain sentences is huge. Like, I'm a massive fan of, like, some of my team geek out every single day. I've got an in-house testing team, and they geek out on just content. If I ask them anything to do with backlinks, they don't know anything about backlinks. But if I go and speak to them about whether to use Surfer SEO or onpage.ai or Market Moves or Phrase or Page Optimizer Pro, they've got accounts with every single one of them, and they're consistently trying to test. And what you're talking about there, if you add, and even if it is a competitor's name, if you add certain entities onto a page, then yes, you rank better. Like Kyle Roof talks about it all the time. You can get lorem ipsum content and place certain keywords and entities in certain places on the page, and you can rank. So Google doesn't read the content. It's getting better, a lot better. And it does now start to understand sentence structure a lot better for like featured snippets. But yes, it's an algorithm, and an algorithm can be manipulated because it's mathematical. So an algorithm's an algorithm. It always will be an algorithm. And they change words into vectors, which is numbers. And if you've got the right amount of vectors on the page, more than your competition, at some point you will outrank them.
Very nice. I think that's going to be the short form soundbite reel there for later. No, on that note, I remember years ago we had SEMrush with the 40% recurring affiliate program. So everyone was promoting SEMrush as the best SEO tool, even though at the time, now it's kind of 50-50 personal preference. But at the time, I think everyone agreed Ahrefs was better. But every single article was promoting SEMrush for that affiliate commission.
Yeah.
And therefore, people were saying if you didn't promote SEMrush, then your article was not ranking properly.
Yeah.
Very interesting how this sort of source data can be manipulated like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We've dwelled on that for a while, but often you keep talking about got all your different sites, different companies, huge team, testing groups. So I think we should move on to just the operational aspect. How on earth have you done it? What was your journey from, I saw it was in 2009 you started your first blog. So how did you grow that into the massive empire you've got today?
So if I quickly start from the start and just fast forward in a quickest way I can. We started out for a company called Soft Services Limited. I still am a director there today. It's grown from 1 million a year up to 8.5 million a year in the UK. That does like tennis courts, netball courts, playgrounds, sports pitches, like 3G football pitches and stuff like that. So we realized we needed an amount of inbound inquiries as opposed to me cold calling, trying to get councils to buy a playground, which at the time, that's how it started. So we built a website. We didn't know how to rank it. We understood that we needed to know how to rank it. Roll on 5 years. The first 5 years, I failed miserably. I failed miserably. We're still seeing progression, but I always felt people could do things at a quicker rate than where we was at. And then I just started to realize that it was just about back then, anything you did worked. Like you did more content, even if it worked. You did more links, it worked. So I got in a very quick in a motion of being, we need to be faster. To be faster, I need more staff. And my background was always project management. So I kind of, if someone says to me, do you think that you are a great SEO? I say no. Like I'm the glue in the business, and I understand everything that's needed for a successful SEO campaign. But I'm not good at semantic SEO and semantic triples and getting the right entity on the page. I'm not the best at silo structure. I'm not the best at technical SEO and site speed and performance. I'm not the best at link building and outreaching. And it's just because I don't do it day to day. But if I can get the people who I think is the best in the world at outreach and going kind of negotiating the best like prices for links on the best quality sites and content, and the geek out and all what they do is content, and someone that all what he cares about is internal anchor text ratios, external anchor text ratios, internal linking, silo structure, and everything like that. Well, then I become one of the best SEOs in the world because I've got one of the best teams in the world. And I think the easiest explanation I can give on this, Stuart, is if you built an extension on your house, would you build that extension yourself? No, you'd go and get a bricklayer to build the wall. You go and get a roofer to put the roof on. You go and get a joiner to do all the doors. And that's all I've done. I'm just a good project manager. Like if I'm building an extension, like I want to expand on SEO, I've got a very good bricklayer. But what I mean by that is I've got a very good content writer that does my content. I'm not going to get my bricklayer to go and lay my roof. So I'm not going to get my content writer to go and do my links. I've got a very good link builder that does my links. I've got a very good internal linking person that just does internal linking. And I think the more you do something, the better you become at it, and the more you kind of geek out at it and you want to be the best at it. So I quickly realized I needed a team around me. And as the business grew, for many years, I made nothing. I made zero because I wanted to build my team around me. And I knew long term I'd have a lot of assets, but short term, I wasn't earning. My staff was earning more than I was earning. Yeah, I owned the business. And I was like, this is not right. But I knew when everything came together, things would do well. And I knew that if I looked after my staff, if I trained them up to be the best they can be, and they could speak to the people that I thought, so like at the time, it was like Matt Woodward and stuff like that, and Charles Flo, I thought was the best at link building. So I got my link building team trained up by them. And then now moving on, I've got a lot of other people that train them up on links. But then with regards to content, they speak to Kyle Roof a lot now. They speak to Corey quite a lot now. Internal links, I speak to people like Andrew Halliday quite a lot, who's like very technical. So my team members are being trained up by who I think are the best in that lane for what they do. And I've got an amazing team around me, and they're well looked after. They're very well paid with regards to a bonus structure of what they can earn, because they build out the assets and they all get 25% of whatever revenue those sites make. That's revenue, not of profit. So they're making very good money out of it. And they're scaling it. They're happy. I'm happy. My customers are happy, which is more important as well. So they're all staying around. And I think when the customers are happy, it makes my staff happy. So we don't overpromise. If anything, we underpromise and overdeliver, which then means that we've got happy clients. And when we've got happy clients, they're willing to keep paying. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, from start to finish, why we built up a successful team and how we've managed to do it for so long and keep staff that now have been, majority of my staff that started out with me 10, 11 years ago, they're still with me today. So that kind of says something, that the culture in the business is good.
Yeah, it's definitely the Richard Branson mindset of put the capable of CEO responsible for that project so you can move on to the next thing.
Exactly, yeah.
I think so many of us get stuck in that bootstrap mentality where we start off broke and we do everything ourselves, and it's very difficult to get out of that mindset.
Yeah. It's like a classic saying. I got brought up, I would say I got brought up by the educational system in the UK, which is to train and educate people how to be poor. So you go out and you get a 9 till 5 job, and you pay tax, and that is what's best for the UK economy. But I got taught that if you want to do a job well, you do it yourself. That is some of the worst advice that you can be educated for kids who want to be an entrepreneur. I've got my niece, right, that she now works for me and does quite a lot of SEO, and she's progressing really well. And when she was like 12 and 13, she was like, I want to be like you. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be like you as an entrepreneur. And I remember the teacher turned around and she said, what do you want to be when you're older? And she said, an entrepreneur. And she went, ha, and laughed at her and said, you've got to be realistic. What do you want to be? And it's like, and they're the teachers of today's education. And it's just like, maybe we're doing things wrong in the UK. And it's not just the UK, but Like, but then they probably don't want people to be trained up to be entrepreneurs, because you do need the people that are 9 to 5 workers. And I'm glad I found a lot of good business mentors and people who I can learn from, including yourself nowadays, that you're putting out a lot of videos. I can learn from you. I can develop my skills, because every day is a school day. And especially with AI now, you've got to keep developing. You've got to keep learning and trying to, if you don't innovate, you're going to evaporate. That's the kind of classic saying. So, back to what you're publishing is incredible, and people need to start subscribing and getting onto it more.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, there is something quite humbling about SEO, as you well know, that because it's so quickly adapting, that you just can't afford to be arrogant. Anyone who looks at back seats, that, I mean, we all say, we're all denying that we're the best, whatever. But realistically, how many people do say they're the best SEO around? There's very few. Most of us are very humble, because it doesn't reward arrogance, certainly.
No, definitely not. I mean, we don't really do we kind of try to revert it back, where we're speaking to a business owner and they only give a crap about one thing, and that's return on investment. So if we talk to them about how much money they're going to make and they only pay us a percentage of what they make, that's kind of how we manage to win a lot of the business owners over. And they love it, because they don't want to talk about what DR the links are and what semantics and what percentage of keyword density or whatever it is that you want to talk about to clients, and what you put in the reports. They just want to know how much. They don't even want to know about traffic. They just want to know about how much money that those inquiries, this is if it's an inquiry based, if it's an e-commerce, how much product have they sold? That's all really that they're looking at. Obviously, an SEO, a marketing manager might want to see traffic growth and impressions and stuff like that, but the business owners just want to know what ROI that they make. So, yeah,
totally. It's something we've battled with qualification, because, of course, you've probably got the same thing, that you've got a large audience of people who don't have a lot of money, but a very high level of knowledge, and they're hoping that your help could save them. Whereas realistically, from our perspective, we can go to a business that trusts us, and it's no longer about price. It's a very interesting process in terms of, you want to help people, but at the end of the day, it tends to be the busy business owner who's got their channels and trusts you, and then it's no longer about price. So when it comes to pricing, you do tend to favor those.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they're busy with what they do, like if you're a dentist and you're on a dental care practice, you are brilliant at doing implants and fixing people's teeth. You're probably not very good at business. So if someone can come along and help you generate leads for what you're good at, and then you can convert them and just keep doing what you're good at, which is fixing people's teeth and doing dentures and doing implants and everything else, then they just need to be busier at what they're good at. And then if they can put the trust in somebody like yourself that runs an agency, then, and you can generate what they need, happy days.
And you mentioned about the investment in terms of ROI and a percentage. Do you actually do any revenue share type deals, or are you purely talking about pitching your current retainer as a percentage of perceived outcome?
No, yeah. So like when we first start in any industry, they don't pay for SEO. They don't pay for content. They don't pay for backlinks. They don't even pay for the inquiries that we send them through. Like we don't charge them anything. All what we do is we say, what is it that you do? And say, right, we build conservatories. Right, okay. Well, if we was to send you leads for conservatories, so let's say like Edwardian conservatories is what we specialize in, right? If we send you leads for Edwardian conservatories, how much do you charge? Currently, we charge 5,500. Okay, what does your competitors charge? Oh, anything up to 7,000. Right. Do you think if we sent you inquiries that you could win the jobs at £6,000? And they say yes. Right, okay. Every inquiry we send you for an Edwardian conservatory, price it up at £6,000. If you win it, pay us the £500 extra that you've added on. You keep the 5,500, and you know that probably only costs 3,500. You're going to make £2,000 profit. Are you happy with that? Obviously, they're going to say yes, because they're winning work without paying anything. So the only thing they're paying is the finder's fee that they've added on. And if they don't win it, they don't pay us anything. So this is where we say we can guarantee a return on investment. They only pay when they've won the job, they've done the job, and they've been paid. But we're very picky with who we work with, because we've got to make certain that that company is good at converting our inquiries. Otherwise, we don't get paid. But that's kind of the model that we do. We go out. Pretty much every business owner wants to work with us because we zero risk in it. All the risk lies with us.
Yeah.
And it lies with us because, and the reason why we do it is because, one, I think we're very good at what we do with regards to ranking the websites. And two, if we don't think it's a profitable market in 6-12 months time, we can do display ads and do all informational posts and stuff like that. So there's other ways we can monetize it to get our money back, or we put it in the testing bed of websites to just go and try to test things out of what's working in today's algorithm or not. So no site's ever wasted, but then what it allows us to do is, are we certain this is going to make an ROI for us as a company? No. Is it worth us going into it? Yeah. Like, let's still test it. So even if only 1 in 10 niches work, we still make a good return on investment. But the truth of the matter is, probably around, I don't know, it depends on the niche, but a lot of our industries we enter, we normally end up making good money out of it. Sometimes it might cost us £40,000 to build the website out in full. That's like, not, it might only cost £100 to build the website, but to do all the content, all the backlinks and everything like that, long term might cost £40,000. But if that site can make £4,000 a month in profit for us after that, well, that means within 1 year, we've got all of our money back. And then every year we're making £4,000 a month clear profit. Because in local, once they're ranking, there's not too much work that needs doing to them. It might need an occasional backlink if it's a difficult kind of service that you're going after. But a lot of them, if it's like carpet cleaning or specific rug cleaning for hotels and stuff like that, there's not that many out there that do it. So it works nicely, and the clients are happy, we're happy, and like you said, and then it makes my staff happy if the clients are happy.
Yeah, I think every model, whether it's affiliate, rank and rent, agency, they've all got their own pros and cons, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, people see I certainly do. You see the cash flow of agency, and it's very appealing. But at the same time, it's very difficult to actually work with someone else's websites, because you often start with someone and find they're either on different platform, and then you find they're on WordPress, but they've got some sort of custom build and all the things you know that if you put WordPress installation on your hosting, it all works. And you've got the same set of plugins, everything tied together. But you find one that's a couple of years old, they've been through various development agencies, and what you're left with is a complete mess. And you're basically missing things that weren't even on your radar before, because in your world, they've always been there. So I think maintaining that control over the website is always very appealing. And like you say, from a sales perspective, if you've already made that investment, your full stack, you control where that lead goes.
Yeah.
I think
like what you're always saying now with regards to the CMS systems and stuff like that. We could not do it because we're not technical enough. We do not have a good enough technical team that could, you go and update all the plugins. If you get a new client, they've got 45 plugins and you go and update them all, and then it breaks. We then got to then start realizing, how's this broken? Oh, this plugin and this plugin are conflicting with each other. We're just not geared up for stuff like that. We're geared up for speed. We build a site, we scale it. If it doesn't work, it goes into display ads. If it doesn't work for display ads, it goes into the testing pool. Rinse and repeat. Very similar setups. They're all WordPress. Someone asked me to do something for Magento or WooCommerce or whatever it is. I don't know how to do it. Like, that's not my lane. I'm not good at that. I'm never once going to come along and say that I'm good at that. And that's where, like what you're talking about there, it's just, there's too many moving parts for me to take over somebody else's website to understand what is going to get the best bang for the buck for the client. It's just we're not geared up for that. If someone's technical and they can do it, I know a lot of people that are earning a lot of money doing client SEO, and it is brilliant in certain markets and stuff like that. But for us, it's just not something that we're geared up to.
I remember, Ross Tavendale.
I know Ross. Yeah,
big London SEO agency owner. I spoke to him at SEO on the Beach in Spain. For people watching, this is, in theory, an SEO conference. It is basically just a beach party with SEOs. But no, we had a good talk where he basically said he's never really done affiliate. He's got a really successful agency. But he says, actually, at the end of the day, when you look at overall cash flow, agency margins are actually very small. And so although the cash flow might seem low from a content site or lead gen, the actual ROI works out pretty much the same because you're basically your profit at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Ross, I don't think it helps him too much where having like a big office in London and paying all London wages, like for digital PR and stuff like that, which is what he's got a very successful agency in doing. It doesn't matter where they are in the world. If someone's good at outreach or good at getting stuff in newspapers, you almost don't need to be paying for the big office in London and all the staff in London. Like, you need to try and leverage VAs and stuff like that. I think that can become a bit of a burden where you've got a lot of overheads. Like we've got a lot of very, very good staff in the UK that are expensive, but they're like my middle managers and my directors. But each one of those members of staff have got 4 or 5 VAs, some up to 10 VAs that work underneath them, whether that's in South Africa, in the Philippines, in Venezuela, in Bangladesh, like depending on what type of job it is. So like South Africa and the Philippines do pretty well with regards if we need any certain content being done and stuff. But we would never use someone in Bangladesh for content, but they're quite good technically, or building certain sites out, or building like citations. So we're trying to leverage that staff that is a lower kind of cost for the jobs that just following a process in the SOP, if that makes sense. So, but Ross is a very, very intelligent SEO. He's a very advanced guy. Like, I've got a lot of time and a lot of respect for him. He could do some damage if he entered the affiliate or the lead gen space, because he's a good SEO, like very good SEO.
Yeah, definitely, and I love the guy for that matter as well.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about this community, in that on the public facing side, people think we're all competitors. So some people have reached out to me saying, yes, we're going with you, but we've got this other website and we're going to give it to Julian Goldie, and then we're going to compare after a few months. I hope that's okay. I'm saying I love Julian Goldie, great guy. We hung out in Thailand. It feels like, on the public side, they think this is some breakneck competition thing, but then we're all having beers in Chiang Mai together.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, the industry is so big that you could both be in the UK and both be in the exact same industry, and there's still probably both 10 to 15 different sub niches, even just within that big niche. So there's so many different keywords that you can go after, and the market is so incredibly big for SEO. I think the industry's there in the SEO industry at present. It's all there about elevating each other, and I think because every day is a school day and the algorithms do change regularly, it's better to have everyone on each other's side to help each other out, to help each other with what's working. And yeah, I love this. That's why I love like I've said this a few times. If someone said to me, here's £1 billion, but you can't work another day in your life, I wouldn't take it. Like, I love the industry. Like, the whole SEO community are like my extended family. Like, I love them. I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant that it's one of very few industries in the world, like you said, that we don't seem to see each other as competition. We're actually, how can I help you, and elevate each other, which is great.
I think that's one of the shocking things when I started getting out, going to the events, touring the world, is just how open people are.
Yeah.
I was speaking to Alejandro Mayerhan's Get Me Links whilst in Thailand, and he said very early on when he took over Get Me Links, he had a call with Matthew Woodward, just like you said, and Matt just told him everything about how you run a link building agency, and he basically pushed back and said, why are you doing this? And he just said, it's in our interest to help each other out. The pie is big enough, was the exact wording he gave me.
Yeah. Matt Woodward's a great guy as well. Like, so living out in Costa Rica we did 1 or 2 masterminds in London with him. And yeah, do you know what? He's like an OG of the industry. Like, I've got, I love the content he puts out, and yeah, he was more old school kind of. It was more, I'd say, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I was an admirer of his. Do you know what I mean? So when he came to London, I'm like, Matt, hey, how you doing? And he doesn't seem to do quite as much new stuff anymore. But when I was in London, he was pretty much like semi-retired. He was like, I've made a load of money. Like, what should I do? And at that point, that's when he then started to realize that it's not about the money, it's about the journey and enjoying where you've come from, and then where you're at now and just appreciating life and appreciating people around you.
That's a perfect point to move on to just a few additional questions I've got from my list. I know you've only got half an hour left. And we've mentioned London a few times, and yeah, like me, you're still in the UK. And I think you've probably got the same battle I am, that especially on a day like today, in theory, we can live and work anywhere. Why do we still choose the UK? And let's open the conversation up to that happiness you were talking about as well, in terms of what you value. I think you're certainly at a point where you've got very abundant resources. So
let's start with UK. So UK, I love the whole kind of the free NHS system. If ever there's a problem, we can use that. I love the idea that I absolutely hate the weather, but I've got family, I've got friends. I like to be rooted. I like to know where I've come from. I'm proud of where I've come from. I love Manchester as a city. I do feel like London's a great city. I do feel Manchester's a great city. I think we've got a lot of great places in the UK. The one big thing that I don't like is the weather. So if I like there as being my base, then I also love traveling. So like I like here as being home, but then I like going by, okay, once a month I'm going to go away for a week, or might go away for a couple of weeks in winter, sorry. Sometimes like the whole of January we'll go to like Dubai, just to get some winter sun. But I genuinely love the UK. Apart from the weather, I love the UK. I love the people that are there. I think there's a lot of high level people from the UK in the SEO industry as well. Some people aren't actually on stage. Some people are out there, and like how me and you was hustling in silence, so to speak. There's a lot of others still to this day that are hustling in silence, and very, very, very successful people that I normally get to my office, and we normally have some private masterminds. You definitely need to come to the next one up in Manchester. Craig Campbell comes to them all, like Gary Wilson and stuff like that. There's probably about 15 to 20 people. It's invite only. We try and keep it that it's high level, but there's some very, very high level business people in there that we've all got different strengths, and we're all trying to elevate each other. So yeah, there's many reasons why I will always keep the UK as being my home. So that's the first part. The second part was, how do I deem happiness? So, well, success, some people talk about success and think that success is money. I think that's ridiculous. I think success is more health and happiness. Now, don't get me wrong, like money can bring a lot of happiness. You can do a lot of nice things with money, but I've also seen a lot of people that set themselves an end goal, achieved an end goal.
And on to the next one, yeah.
And then, there's another end goal, and there's another end goal, there's another end goal. They're always trying to get the next high. But when someone does achieve what they seem to be their end goal, which could be earning 5 million, 10 million, 50 million, whatever your end goal is, and if you reach it, you have this feeling of emptiness. And you're like, what, is that it? Is that where it's at? And I've known a lot of people that have achieved their high goal of being like 50 million and I'm done. And they've got there, and I've had some close friends that have killed themselves. And there was the happiest people I've ever known. Got very nice sons and daughters, a really nice wife, a happy family. They've always been a nice employer. The staff around him thought it was really nice. And within 12 months of selling, he just went into depression. And it was so sad to see. And then I've seen it once or twice, not kill himself, but enter a state of depression and emptiness after achieving what they thought would be their perfect, once I get here, that is it. I'm going to be happy forever. And it's so empty. So you've got to realize then, when you understand that it is all about the journey and the success and the climbing the mountain, as opposed to getting to the peak of the mountain. The climbing of the mountain is the happiness. And there's a never ending kind of, I never now set myself a goal. And this is why I'm saying, if someone said to me, here's £1 billion, but you have to stop, I'd be like, no chance. Because that's not where I'm at. Where I'm at is going to Chiang Mai, kind of masterminding with people, geeking out about SEO. Because I do, sounds daft this, I actually love SEO as an industry. I not just the people, like I enjoy, if someone turned around to me and said, like, you've got a day off tomorrow, I'd probably watch a few of your videos and one or two videos from Craig Campbell and geek out and seeing what's working and what's not. Like, I enjoy it. Like,
I've had the same. I've had the same problem on a smaller level where, I might have hit a certain revenue goal and thought, great, I can take things easy now, and you do get the certain kind of the what now element.
Yeah,
and you're absolutely right. It's that point of stepping back and realizing actually I do enjoy what I do.
Yeah,
you're right. It's that hands-on grinding. Because I'm sure you're the same. When you're working on a project, it's like being a painter or a sculptor. It's
exactly that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a painter, but I can imagine someone who's gone and painted it. They actually enjoy doing it. The end goal of selling it for £100,000, but that's great. But they actually enjoy doing the painting in the first place.
Yeah. On that note, I also had questions of when we were setting up this call. You basically said, "You tell me when's a good time." So I thought, this is the person, despite the size of the business, got a nice open calendar. So what does your week look like now? And what do you think your ideal week would look like if they're not already the same?
So I feel like I don't think there's ever anything that you could say is ideal, but ideal at present is the working program of what I have. So what works best for me is I normally get up now. This wasn't always the case, but this is the case like been pretty much all of this year. And it just works best for my body clock. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We go straight into the office, probably into the office for 5:30. So me, Scott and Kazra drive together into the office. For 30 minutes it takes to get there. We kind of asking each other questions and what did we do last night, and just seeing, like, normally Kazra might have been up till midnight watching some podcast and what do you think of this and what do you think of that? And we just chatting. We get into the office. We don't eat anything. We do intermittent fasting till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. So we get into the office for, let's say, 5:30. We'll work till about 12, 1 o'clock. Then we'll go to the gym at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, work out at the gym, then go home, have our kind of whatever you want to call it, lunch or brunch or afternoon tea or whatever it is. And the reason why we do that is because we realized that when we used to eat breakfast or eat something, we felt lethargic after we eaten, like within the workplace. Our energy levels are so much higher when we do intermittent fasting. Now, this is different for everybody. Just for us, for all three of us, in fact, it just worked the best this way. And then we'd done our workout. We seemed to work better out in the gym on an empty stomach, which is like a bit crazy because you'd think obviously eating something might give you the energy to work out, but that's just worked best for us. And then I see my son and daughter, who between 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock every day. I try and make certain between 3 and 7 o'clock that I don't do anything between 3 and 7 o'clock. So I try and don't book anything in. I turn my phone off. I go to the park. I go on a bike ride. I go to a soft play centre. It's just time with my kids. So, and that's what I try to do every day. And then we go to bed at 7, see the wife for a bit, might watch football or might go football training myself, or then sometimes go back on my laptop and catch up on what people are saying and watching podcasts. Probably go to bed at 11 o'clock and then rinse and repeat that cycle of getting up at 5, go to bed at 11. And that's my day-to-day at present. So my day-to-day in the office, I'm not needed in the office. Like, the only thing that I do is I'm just asking questions and seeing what innovative new ideas that we're doing, what I'm hearing from other people that's working, and can my testing team be testing certain and implementing certain things. They normally test it. If it works, they'll improve the SOP. They'll train the staff up that does the day-to-day kind of process of getting that done. And I'm not really needed. Like, I'd like to feel like I am needed, but it kind of runs without me, if I'm being honest. But I'm always in there. I'm always trying to be the one the most energetic. I feel like I'm more of a cultural architect nowadays. So making certain the culture is good and everything's happy. If anyone wants a one-to-one, they can have a one-to-one with me. But then that gives me a lot of free time. That if someone like yourself, and this is what I'm saying, you tell me a time, I'll work around you. I'll book in a time. If you say it's now, this is between my 3 and my 4 o'clock time with the kids, but actually today works okay because they're out at the moment with the mother-in-law and stuff like that. So I'm like, you tell me a time that works, and and I'll make it work for me, because I've no set meetings. So this is why some of these podcasts work pretty well, because I'm like, you tell me what's a good time, and I'll fix it in around your busy schedule.
And to your point, I think there's a lot of credit there to the almost sort of monk-like stoic discipline. You mentioned the gym. That's a classic one where often I'm terrible at getting up in the morning, but no matter how high you climb, we've all got this belief that there'll come a day where we can just sit by the pool sipping cocktails and not have to do anything.
Yeah.
Not realizing that you would never actually like that in the first place. We need that meaning and purpose, and just those systems to keep us functioning each day.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of credit.
You got to remember, like, if you go back to the caveman times, they used to get up and hunt, and that's kind of what their DNA is: get up and go and hunt for food. So like, if someone like I could just be going sat on the beach if I wanted to, and I'd drink pina colada all day, but I'd feel unhealthy. I wouldn't want to then go and work out at the gym. I wouldn't see all my friends who might be playing football with or whatever. Like, I just feel like the kind of the model I'm in now is by choice. So I must love what I do in work. I must enjoy the people that I work with. I'm still investing in new companies every single day, like with business partners that I have, or sometimes with a new business partner that I quite like to work with him. I think he's quite a cool guy. So yeah, I'll do that. I don't need to do that. I'm not forced into doing that. There's no one like turning around to me going, you need to hit these goals, you need to hit this threshold and stuff like that. Like, I'm doing it because I enjoy it, and I feel like it makes me make better decisions as well, because they're not forced upon. So that's kind of where I am at the moment. But like, I still feel like a school kid. I still love going to these meetups, because I still feel like people like yourself and other people are way better SEOs than myself. So like, and like Julian, you mentioned Julian Goldie. He's unbelievable with AI. Craig Campbell's always got some sort of new trick up his sleeve. So every time I meet him, I'm like, right, come on, let's go out on the jet skis up in Scotland, and we'll go up and we'll go and meet him. And he's always got random new ideas that I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So I love it. I love this new level of kind of people giving me information and me being able to absorb all this information, and it's great.
On that note, I think I did just have a few final technical questions for you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like technical, but go
on. So Kazra in Chiang Mai, there's a lot of talk about obviously CTR manipulation, but people talking about specifically if you can send your traffic from either a Gmail redirect link or a Twitter link. So the point being, for those watching, so CTR manipulation, driving traffic to the website, as we've discussed a lot. If that's coming from anywhere, then obviously there's some value to it. But if it comes from an existing platform like Twitter or Gmail, then that's a good sign that this site is going viral. You're not just getting loads of scammy traffic, you're getting actual social traffic, basically. Yeah. So Casual was saying you built a tool to actually do this, and basically it was a major operation to get it off the ground. The speaker had said, this is just a good thing you can do. But Casual said, actually, you've got to really dig down and invest in building this tool.
Yeah. So that's part of Signal Boy. So it's not really a tool, it's just more of a network of people that you can get to do certain things. But not only that, is that so here's one for you. Let's talk about traffic. If you run PPC to your website, you will, now you need to split test this in easier niches to see this. You will see a gain on through to the pages that you run them through to. So if you do it just through a random PPC page, obviously it's not going to rank. If you're sending it to an actual inner page and you start sending PPC traffic to that page, you actually start climbing the rankings in SEO. Now, I'm not saying that Google rewards you for using PPC and that the PPC team go and tell the SEO team that they should rank higher. I'm not saying it's that, but what I'm saying is the click and the engagement works even from running PPC. The same runs for Facebook ads. The same runs for, I don't know if you ever did like website notifications where you could go and do a web notification ping that someone then goes and clicks through to it. That improves rankings. Pinterest ads, LinkedIn ads, Twitter ads, YouTube ads, everything works. If I went and sent traffic through YouTube, you did a link in a YouTube description, Now, that's an interstitial link. So it has to be a human that goes and clicks onto it. Normally it says, do you want to go through to this website? You say yes, and you go through to it. If you do a volume of that traffic from YouTube as being the referrer, you will get an increase of where that page is ranking. Twitter does the same, Pinterest. So like the Christopher that was up on stage spoke about Gmail and spoke about Twitter being like two places. It's not just those two places. Google can see so many different places of traffic. And this is where I came back down to when we're speaking about behavioral signals and engagement signals. If you can get people, if you can build up, like Matt Diggity was talking to me about his Diggity marketing website and saying that it's going up and up and up and up. And one or two of his affiliate sites was like up and down, up and down, up and down. And he's like, consistently, my Diggity marketing was going up. And I'm like, oh, that seems a bit strange, because some of your affiliate sites, you don't build an email list for. Some of your other stuff, you don't do YouTube for, that's getting kind of people to come back to it. That your affiliate sites don't have branded searches. Yeah, Diggity Marketing's got branded searches. It's got clicks from email. It's got clicks from the YouTube channel, and you're building out a proper brand. And that engagement signal adds to your overall quality score of your site. So if you can be building, and this sounds very white hat in the approach, but if you can build a proper brand and try to get traffic from as many sources as you can, that will work very good. Hence the reason why now Kaz is building up his Twitter following, because if he can start doing links in Twitter and people then click onto it and go through to the site, he knows that that's going to help his website rank better. He's building up a YouTube following. He's building up, and then he's sharing it on LinkedIn. And you can do like LinkedIn Pulse. LinkedIn Pulse is a great parasite SEO. But actually, if that parasite SEO started ranking and generating clicks on the links through to your site, those clicks from LinkedIn Pulse will make your website rank so much better as well. So people now have become obsessed. Like Charles Float talks about parasite SEO quite a lot. Whatever you want to call it, parasite SEO, barnacle SEO, piggyback SEO, whatever it is that you want to call that, we've done that for 10 years, right? But we didn't call it parasite SEO. All what we called it was, we want to rank our guest posts. That's all we called it at the time. We want to write good quality content for our guest posts. We want to do tier 2 backlinks to our guest post and physically try to rank our guest post, because in my opinion, the best quality type of link that you can have is from a do follow contextual backlink that ranks for the keyword that you want your website, what you want your web page that you're linking through to rank for. That is the best type of link you can have. So if you can get your guest post ranking for what the web page it links through to, and it says an exact match of what that's ranking for through to yours, Google's ranking this page but says, oh, no. This is a better page because this is an exact match anchor. This is the page you want to rank. And that's always been the case. But people just cheap out on the content of guest posts. They don't try and rank the guest posts. The amount of people that don't do tier 2 backlinks to the guest post is scary. Like, why not? It's a brand new page. The page level's got no power. Yes, it might be a DR60, but it's on a page that's got no power. Go and get some tier 2s through to that page and watch. You're going to spend £300 on a guest post, but you won't go and spend £60 on free tier 2s. Like, why? Because it 10x's the power of what that guest post is. Go and get some tier 2s to your guest post and watch your rankings skyrocket.
This is what I keep saying on the link building side, that now we've got ChatGPT. If I take the surfer entities, put it into ChatGPT, I can do a perfect article in 10 minutes. So why are people still submitting these vague guest posts of top 10 tips to achieve X? And it's just filler content. They're
getting iWriter to write it for $9. I'm like, ChatGPT used with the right entities can write a better article than someone on iWriter for $9. Go and, like you said, go and extract the entities that's needed from Surfer, get them on the page and get it written, and just maybe put like a prompt in, like, try to write this as concise as possible, but getting all the main entities on the page, because you don't want a load of fluff. But then you've got your information kind of density in a 2,000 word article instead of it being a 4,000 word article, but it's got all the entities in really concise manner. you'll rank the guest post. Why not try and rank it to try to get traffic from the guest post? Like, in my opinion, Christopher's talk where he talks about do Gmail and do Twitter, why not just do everything? Gmail, like YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest. You've got amazing thumbnails. Your thumbnails on your YouTube channel are amazing, right? Here's something for you. I don't know whether you do this or you don't. Are you pinning your YouTube videos on Pinterest? Because if you're not, go back, go out now, set Stuart Vickers Pinterest up, go and get a board for AI SEO, right? Go and pin all of your AI videos. All them images will be ranking in Pinterest. Go and get some tier 2 backlinks, which could be like anything to Pinterest. I don't recommend this to money sites, but to Pinterest, you can still do GSA. You can still do SEO Autopilot. You can still do Money Robot. Go and get some like cheap niche edits, right? Go and get some links to the board of AI SEO in Pinterest and watch how much traffic that you can get from Pinterest through to your videos, which then gets them subscribing. Like, go and find traffic from everywhere. Like, we call it effective frequency. Like, if you was ever educated about advertising or marketing 10 years ago, they would tell you that you can't go and run some radio ads unless you run billboard advertising, TV advertising, and all these other platforms, because people don't buy from you until they've seen you 5 times. If you use that same mentality online and get seen on Pinterest, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, there's tools out there that automatically reshare them on them places anyway. Go and get traffic from as many sources as you can. Try and do these, like, some of these, like, ranking the LinkedIn Pulse. Like, go and get some tier 2s to your LinkedIn Pulse article to get it ranking. Like, Julian Goldie does an amazing example of it, like Twitter backlinks. Go and type that in. I think he ranks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All them will be driving traffic to his Twitter following, which people start following that, his YouTube channel, to start subscribing to that. The more engagement he's getting, the more you go and look at his website and look at, like, it's like this.
Yeah.
Go and look at his backlink profile. His backlink profile doesn't fall, or his content velocity. He's getting way more traffic to his website now. Don't get me wrong, his content velocity and link velocity has gone up slightly, but his rankings have skyrocketed because of the amount of engagement that he gets, natural engagement he gets from all of these places. So when Kazra says I've got a tool for it, it's just effective frequency. How can I rank all these different places to try to rank better? And all these different platforms, like Reddit search is crazy. Quora search is crazy. Pinterest search. I'm on about just within Pinterest, the search within Pinterest. The amount of people that use Pinterest, try and start ranking on the first page for AI SEO, like for what you do. Julian Goldie should be doing. I don't think he's done a video on it yet. He probably, next minute, you and Julian will probably have a video out tomorrow for Pinterest SEO. But like, go and leverage it. There's loads of people on there that want to know, and you've already done the hard work. You've got amazing thumbnails. You've got amazing content on your YouTube channel. Literally takes you 20 seconds to you just go Chrome extension, pin to that board. Thank you very much. Next day, Pinterest, pin that board. It takes 10 seconds. You're already doing the hard work. Go and leverage all the traffic from everywhere else.
Thank you very much. Sounds good to me. I know you've only got 10 minutes left, so let's have a nice, easy one. Obviously, so blowing up on YouTube has been great, but it does mean that I've got loads of, obviously, beginners really keen to learn, and therefore I get loads of outreach saying, I literally have no money. What can I do? What's the best way to get started? So I normally say, first of all, start writing. We've got the AI now, so content isn't really a problem.
Yeah.
Even correlational things, you don't really need them as an essential. You can still just extract entities from a web page and create your own sort of surfer template that way.
Yeah.
Press release, very cheap links. Citations, very cheap links. So the fundamentals are still quite basic. But from your perspective, I'm wondering if, from a higher level perspective, if we step back a bit from just pure, how do I rank on Google? If you had to start again today, what would you do?
So my question, so with regards to that, when someone says, I've no money, how do I rank? It's like, if you've known, like, to learn SEO is like going to university. And to go to university, going to take you 3 years, I'd say go and get a job. Go and get a job in an agency and learn in the agency. You'll learn in the agency and you'll get paid. Try and ask, can you do overtime and save some money up until you've got 10, 15 grand and until you know that you're good at SEO. But realistically, you need some money, right? Well, that would be my first to them. And I know it's quite brutal with what I'm saying, but too many people go, I've no money. Can you teach me how to rank? No, you're just wasting my time, right?
That's what you said about telling a business owner about ROI and what do you expect to make per sale, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I can tell you that in terms of with this website, what do you want to make? And they might say, I want to make, $3 grand.
Yeah. Or people like Craig Campbell has got a free SEO course. Go and do the free SEO course. And when you've completed it to completion, then come back to me and I might say, what do you think is the most important ranking factor? Because I'll know if you've done his course. So if you've not, the point is 90% of people that buy a course don't even complete it. This is crazy. So all these people say that they want to build out a site, but they've no money. No, they don't. Majority of people don't. They just think that they do. But they don't, like what they say and what they do are two completely different things. So a lot of the time, and this is no disrespect to people starting out, I've not got much time for them until they go, like this endless amount. I've just said in this video 10 times, your YouTube channel is amazing. Have they watched every single video on your YouTube channel? If not, don't speak to me until you have. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't expect me to be giving you information that's already out there. Go and watch every video that's on my YouTube channel. And then when you've watched every single one of them, then ask me something that you might feel you might struggle with within SEO. Don't just say, how do I start out with no money? Like, that's kind of what I normally say to them. But if everything left me tomorrow, I got robbed of all my assets, I got robbed of everything, I have no money tomorrow, but can I have my knowledge? Have I got my knowledge or not?
Yes, because I think right now we would just want to get your knowledge bomb, basically.
Right. So what would I do now starting out? So I would use Google Bard and I'd use ChatGPT and I'd go and follow the stuff that you and Julian talk about with regards to. I'd go and reach out to somebody like Vabath at Autoblogging and I'd say to him, Vabath, look, I'm struggling for money, but I tell you what, I've got a Twitter following here. And I'm going to publish and say how amazing your tool is. You couldn't give me 1 month's worth of free trial, could you? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and build out 3 new websites using your tool. And I'll promote you saying that your tool's great and show these live case studies. And hopefully them 3 case studies would start generating traffic, which means I can start earning money from AdSense or Ezoic or Ad5 or Mediavine for display ads. I'd probably go into the appliance repair industry because what I can do is I can start going scaling out hundreds and hundreds of articles of how to repair a washing machine, right? And do all these articles about how to repair every type of washing machine, dishwasher, appliance that there is. But then what I can do is I can do display ads on them. But then I can also sell leads to say, if you want someone to come out who can repair washing machines, like fill in this form or ring this number, and it could be an electrician that can come out for £150 to come and fix the washing machine. But then I can also on that same website have an affiliate page that says, here's the best 10 washing machines. Now that might not rank initially because I've no backlinks going through to it. But if people are coming through and they're getting traffic for like how to repair it, they've got different options then now. They can read how to repair it. I'm going to get paid on display ads. 2, they can fill in a form and get my electrician to come through and I'm going to get paid from a lead generation standpoint if they pay someone to come out and repair it. Or 3, in my content, I can say, look, it's going to cost you £150 to repair your washing machine. Why don't you just buy a new one for £300? Here's the best 10 washing machines. So I've got multiple places of monetization. And then I just rinse and repeat doing that for different appliances. And then once I've started earning money, I take nothing out. I take the minimum out I can just to survive. And I just keep building out new sites. If you look at Julian Goldie built out 98 websites. Yes. This is the latest video, I think in 60 days, right? So if I'd do the same, I'd work 7 days a week, 14, 15 hours a day. And I'd go and build out 98 websites and do what he did. And majority of them are like that on traffic. And I'd go and do it. And I try and find all the ones that are quite easy to rank for without backlinks, because at the moment I've no money to build backlinks. until I've got the money to build backlinks, and then I'd start building backlinks. I'd probably start off with citations, like you said. I put an address on, I get all lead signals, which cost no money to do. So a telephone number, an address and all that. Once I've got money, I'd go and get 500 citations, probably cost about $200 on Fiverr. So I'll get 100 citations. I'd load them into like Amiga indexer to try and get as many of them indexed as I can. I'd go and get a press.
Google doesn't really care where your address is. It can, in theory, just be an office.
Yeah, and it could be anywhere. Yeah. I'd go and get a press release. I'd go and create a couple of videos. If I'm skint, I'd just be like on my phone doing a video, getting a YouTube video up. Oh yeah, we can do appliance repairs. I'd go and try and get that on YouTube, embed it on the site. Actually, there's just been a new update on the videos. Have you seen that?
Which one?
There's been a new update 48 hours ago where all pages that embed a video are now no longer, or majority of pages that show up in Google Videos tab no longer rank anymore. Really? It's all YouTube videos that are ranking, not actual clicking through to the web page, which is quite interesting.
Because it used to be you could just steal someone else's video, embed it
exactly, and put it on your page. You can't do that anymore now. Literally 48 hours ago, there was a new update. But then on the press release, I'd embed an image, I'd embed my video, I'd get my NAT listing, I'd embed my GMB if I've got a GMB, and then do naked URLs or branded links to the home page. And then after that, I've got no follow diversity, naked URL, branded anchors. I'd then start doing do follow backlinks. Probably start with stuff, because I've not got much money. I'd probably start with like PBNs because they're going to give me the most power. And then once I've got a few of them, maybe some niche edits, and then start hitting it with guest posts and tier twos. Basically, once I've got more money, that's kind of how I'd work down, scale as much content as I can out, and then try to save as much money as I can to build backlinks. And then as I'm earning more, build more sites out and just build it as fast as I can.
Very nice. So down to our final 2 minutes. Huge thanks to James Dooley. A huge amount of knowledge shared. I'm sure we've all got a lot of value from this. So how can people get in touch with you? What are your next goals of the business that might be of interest to them?
I'm always looking for investment opportunities. I'm always looking to try and grow in all walks of life in what I do with regards to SEO and online. I've got jamesdooley.com, and then from there, then you can see all the different social profiles, whether it's like Twitter or YouTube and stuff like that. I'm nowhere near as active as you are, but I'm trying to be more active nowadays online. So yeah, jamesdooley.com, and then from there, probably most active on YouTube and Twitter. So yeah,
very good. And maybe just one sentence key takeaway for anyone who's watching.
Just to take action. At the end of the day, like it's not the most knowledgeable SEOs in the world that are making the most money. It's just about taking action, rolling up your sleeves and working hard and trying to implement what you've learned